Of everyone else. Wake up with Rich or play catch up all day. This is News Radio WRVA.
All right, 8:04 this morning on Richmond's Morning News. It's News Radio WRVA. Thanks for joining us. I got one text message I wanted to share with you. And this one's very, very, very touching. All right, James here. I've been both the deployed soldier, and after I was out as the dependent raising two boys while my wife was deployed. It's so much easier being the deployed person. Staying home with the kids, not knowing what was going on with my wife was stressful, and not having that partner there to help with the day-to-day becomes quite wearing. Yeah. James. Number one, thank you for your service. Thank you for your wife's service. And to your two boys, tell them on behalf of all of me and everybody here, and I think all Americans, thank them for being that family member that has to make those sacrifices. Dad's not there, the mom's not there. The stress is overwhelming. And we all know when you were kids, you could feel the stress from your family and your mom and dad. If they're fighting or they're not there, there's money troubles. You know what that stress is like as a little kid. Now that stress is, mommy, where's daddy? Daddy, where's mommy? The stress that these families go under is excruciating. Thank you for making sure that we understand that point of view. And that's why I was asking for. Somebody said, enough of you are on here, some veterans. Absolutely, me too. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140 for a veteran. You want to share your story. I want to get your thoughts on this story that we've been talking about this morning here on Richmond's Morning News. All right, it's 8:06 this morning on this Monday, August 17th, the year of our Lord 2026. On Facebook, I'm asking you, facebook.com/newsradiowrva, asking you, with the anniversary of Elvis disappearing or passing, whichever you choose to believe, 49 years ago, one of the most iconic Americans of all time. If we did a Mount Rushmore of iconic Americans in pop culture, who would you have as your four? Mine are Elvis, it's Walt Disney, it's Jackie Robinson, and it's Steve Jobs. They all have different meanings. Elvis, of course, king of rock and roll, pop culture icon, right? Can't argue with the king, can you? Walt Disney created so much entertainment, pop culture, can't argue with him. Jackie Robinson transcended sports and changed American culture. I can't argue with him. And then Steve Jobs, if it wasn't for the iPhone and Apple computers that made the power of these gigantic, humongous machines available at my fingertips, my Apple phone, they say, has more computing power than some of the original Apollo rockets. Got that in my hand every day. Would we have social media and all the rest if it wasn't for the iPhone? Steve Jobs makes my list of the Mount Rushmore of iconic Americans. A lot of people saying Johnny Cash, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. I agree with all of those, but who do I take off my Mount Rushmore because I can only have four? You want to comment? It's newsradiowrva.com facebook.com/newsradiowrva, facebook.com/newsradiowrva. Sound off there, sound off on the James River Air text line, 833-804-1140. I've reminded everybody, our golf tournament's sold out. Golf tournament's sold out, but we have a waiting list right now. Go to newsradiowrva.com/golf, newsradiowrva.com/golf. And final reminder, Saturday, we're on the countdown now, Super Dave, countdown. I just walked in and showed him a YouTube short video of tri-tip cooking over an open fire. Saturday, 11 o'clock. I don't know how they're going to let me do this, but TJ from Tom Leonard's is going to let me. I'm going to be out there at 11 o'clock cooking tri-tip sandwiches, put it on a French roll, a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, that sirloin steak, that tri-tip cut. You can put salsa on it if you want or whatever else you want to put on it. I'll be out there serving them. Proceeds, we will donate. And in conjunction with my friends at River City Wranglers, are going to put on a Jeep show out there. We'll donate that money to Reeds across America. And if this goes well, I'm going to try to do this more often. Maybe if I can do it once a month over with TJ and Tom Leonard's, I'll do it. And we'll raise money for for community projects. And I think this is great, raising money for wreaths across America. So it's this Saturday, 11 o'clock, West End. Come try my Santa Maria style tri-tip sirloin steak sandwiches. They're delicious. It's not a cut of meat that they cook anywhere outside of Central California. I know on the ranch and the farms, when they would have these big, parties, we'd serve Santa Maria style tri-tip since I was a little kid. I can cook it at home. I've never cooked it for, I don't even know how many we're going to cook in mass production. I've seen it happen at family reunions and big gatherings and weddings. I'm going to try it on my own. We'll see how it goes. Saturday, Tom Leonard's, TJ is going to give me the grill. I'll be out there cooking. We'll start serving at 11. It should be fun. Tell your friends, come by, because I want to raise as much money as I can for wreaths across America, but you're going to get a great steak sandwich that day. All right, let's get to Richmond's morning news brief, shall we? Story number one, the memo of understanding between the U.S. and Iran has expired. Here's Jim Banks talking about what the latest is. Senator talking about the U.S. and Iran.
Number one.
What they have done to decimate Iran's defense industrial base, wiping out 85% of their ballistic missiles and their nuclear program, has set Iran back decades or generations.
All right, but here's the latest. The MAU expires. Donald Trump, remember, we have the Pakistanis and the Omanis, I believe is what you call people from Oman. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I'm sure you will. They're negotiating right now on behalf of the U.S. They're the go-between. But Donald Trump said to Oman, because they're talking about, well, how about we just control the Strait of Hormuz along with Iran? He goes, hey, if you get in the way of this, we're going to bomb the you-know-what out of you. That's something that just came out of an interview this morning with Trey Yingst. Trump also dismisses the stories about the U.S. Stockpile of U.S. military supplies. And he did confirm, the president, that they've had back-channel negotiations and talks with the IRGC. One of the problems is you sit down, you talk with Oman, you talk with Pakistan, they go talk with the government of Iran, and then they take it to the IRGC, and the IRGC says, no, we're not going to do any of this. Something that just we haven't talked about, and I'll throw it out to you. In Iran, there's two different militaries. One is controlled by the government. That's their regular army. The IRGC, the elite crack troops, are controlled by the mullahs. The government has nothing to do with them. They are 100% there at the behest of the mullahs, and that's where the mullahs stay in power. So you can have all the negotiations you want with their prime minister and their presidents, but it's the mullahs as a theocracy that control everything. So, yeah, maybe you're getting somewhere with the government and the regular army and the military. And by the way, they're the ones who control the Navy, the ground forces, and some of the missiles. But then you have the IRGC that strictly work for the mullahs. And you say, okay, we'll do it with one half of the military. The other half says, go kick rocks. That's where we are today. All right, story number two. I'm going to talk about malfeasance when it comes to our government using our tax dollars, both in Virginia and Richmond, Virginia. Poor job of being stewards of our money. That's our second big story.
Number two.
Oh, we talked about this earlier. The city of Richmond says these grants that we're giving out, they're given out to friends. They destroy paperwork. We're going to farm these out to somebody else. Okay, that just tells me they're not very respectful of my tax dollars, and they are not good stewards of our money. How about what's going on in Virginia? Have you seen this story? SNAP benefits in Virginia. The SNAP program is going to take a couple $1 million hit. Why? Because they overpaid and they didn't watch what was going on. And in the big, beautiful bill, if you don't take care of the people's money, then you owe it back to the people. I'm going to get into that coming up this hour, at 9 o'clock on Richmond's Morning News. Again, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, so many of these places around here are not taking care of our money. I'm glad they're being held accountable. That's story number two. Story number three, we've talked about this. I'm asking for Navy veterans, military veterans, spouses, family to comment on this. The USS Lincoln will be rotated out of the Middle East. The George Washington will replace her, but reports from family members saying everything is going to heck in a handbasket there. That's our third story of the morning.
Number three.
All right, story number 3 is this morning, the USS Lincoln. I'm looking for people to comment on the story. You saw it all weekend. Please, if you're a veteran, if you're in the military, if you're a military family, spouse, mom, dad, I want to hear your version. I want to hear your story. I want to get your thoughts. 833-804-1140. And that is this morning's Richmond's Morning News Brief. Okay, let's see. Coming up on the program, I am going to switch gears. School is back. Andy Baynow works for the city, works on traffic safety for the city of Richmond. He's going to join me coming up at the bottom of the hour. I want to remind everybody school's back. I think Richmond City Schools, Gary said, go back next week with a big smile on his face. All the kids in town are not happy with that. But Andy and I are going to discuss what you need to remember now the kids are going back into school and how we're going to make sure that we keep our kids safe and the pedestrians safe around those schools. That's coming up here in just a few moments. We'll talk with Andy Baynow, City of Richmond, about public safety, pedestrian safety. He's going to come on once a month. I promised the mayor that I was going to do this. I want to stay and keep my word. We're going to talk about public safety, pedestrian safety, and keep our city streets safe here in Richmond, Virginia, and the surrounding counties as well. All right, today's program is brought to you in part by our friends at Loan Pronto. All right, let's see. What is